Hello everyone. In this video, we are going to study the Vogel's approximation method of calculating initial feasible solution of a transportation problem. So let's start with a balanced standard transportation problem in which we are given three supply points S1, S2 and S3 and four destination points D1, D2, D3, D4 with their respective supply and demand requirements. The total supply available is 1000 units and total demand is also equal to 1000 units. So it is a balanced transportation problem, and we are going to calculate the initial feasible solution with the help of Vogel's approximation method, or VAM. Sometimes we call it as a VAM method, and sometimes we call it as a penalty method, because in this method we are going to use or to consider the cost differences or the opportunity cost of not using the best route. So let's start the Vogel's approximation method. So in the step 1, what we have to do, consider every row and column of the table individually and find the difference between the minimum and the next minimum per unit cost. So what we have to do, we have to select every row. So like in first row, first of all we have to select the minimum cost. Minimum cost is 10. In the first row minimum cost is 10 and the next minimum is 12. Next minimum is 12. So we have to calculate the difference of these two minimum costs. So difference would be 12 minus 10 or 10 minus 12, because in this case we are just taking the absolute value, so we are ignoring the sign of the difference. So the difference between minimum and the next minimum is 2. So there is a difference between 10 and 12 is 2. So we have to repeat this exercise for each row and for each column individually. In the second row, the minimum cost is 7 rupees and the next minimum is 8 rupees. So what would be the difference? 8 minus 7, that is equal to 1. Similarly for third row, the minimum cost is 6 rupees and the next minimum is 7. So the difference is 1. So we have to repeat this exercise for each column individually. In the first column, the minimum cost is 6 and the next minimum is 7. So the cost difference is equal to 1. In the second column, the minimum cost is 10 and the next minimum is 11. So the cost difference is again 1. For third column, the minimum cost is 8 and the next minimum is 11. So the difference is 3. For the fourth column, the minimum is 7 and the next minimum is 13. So the cost difference is 6. So in the first step what we have to do, we have to select the minimum cost and the next minimum cost in each row and column individually, and then we have to calculate the cost difference. Like for first row, I am repeating, for first row the minimum cost is 10 and the next minimum is 12. So the difference is 2. So you can put a question here, why we are taking the difference of these two costs. Okay, let me explain it. Just tell me, in the first row, which option is best for the company, and which option would be best? The one which have the minimum cost. So for in first row, the best option is, or the best route is this cell. It means source 1 should supply units to the destination 2. It is the best option because the minimum cost is for source 1 is 10. But the problem is, if we match demand and supply, the supply of source 1 is of 500 units, but the demand of destination is 2 is only 150 units. So we cannot supply the 500 units from source 1 to destination 2 because there is a mismatch between supply and demand. So what would happen? After allocating 150 units to destination 2, remaining 350 units would be allocated to different destinations. They may be allocated to destination 1, destination 3 or destination 4. Suppose the remaining units are transferred to destination 3, that is 350 units, because the requirement of destination 3 is 350 units. So suppose we have allocated remaining 350 units to the destination 3. Now look at the price or the cost the company is paying extra, because they cannot opt or select the best option because of mismatch between demand and supply requirements. So they have adopted the second option, that is they have adopted this route. They are supplying from source 1 to destination 3, and in this through this route, when we are going through this route, we are paying extra 2 rupees per unit, because through the best route we were paying 10 rupees per unit, and through next best we are paying 12 rupees per unit. So and in net form we are paying 2 rupees extra. So it is the penalty or opportunity cost that we are paying in the first row. So that is the reason behind for calculating the difference between minimum and the next minimum cost. So for every row and for every column, we have calculated the cost differences. So the step of calculating these differences is known as iteration. Iterations we have to do. So it is the first iteration. Similarly, the first iteration. Now, in the next step, what we have to do? Select the row or column with the largest cost difference among all differences. Among all differences, we have to select the largest one. So look at the cost difference in first row is 2, in second 1, in third 1, in first column, in fourth column it is 6, in third column it is 3, in second column it is 1, again in first column it is 1. So among all the differences, including the differences of the rows and the differences of the columns, which one is the largest? The 6. So what we have to do? We have to select the largest cost difference among all the differences. So 6 is the largest. So what is the reason behind selecting the largest cost difference? Because 6 shows that we are paying the maximum penalty in column 4. We are paying the maximum penalty in column 4. So we should give extra consideration, or we should give extra efforts to reduce this penalty. That's why we are giving our initial efforts, or we are giving our initial focus on the row or column which has the maximum penalty. So it should be the key or critical column. That's why we are selecting the column or row with highest cost differences. So after selecting the highest cost difference, what we have to do? In the selected row or column, identify the cell with the minimum cost and identify the cell with minimum cost. So in the fourth column, we have selected the largest cost difference. Now in this column, we have to find out the minimum cost. Minimum cost. So in this column, the minimum cost is 7. Okay. In the minimum cost is 7. Initially, we have to calculate the cost differences. Then we have to select the largest cost difference, and after that, in that column or the row, which one we have selected, in this case we have selected the column, identify the minimum cost in front of this value. So minimum cost is 7. Then after selecting the cell with minimum cost, make allocation in it. Now we have to allocate in this cell by simply matching demand and supply requirements. So for this cell, the supply is of 200 units and the demand is 320 units. Okay, simply, so we would allocate the lower value, that is 200 units. So we have allocated 200 units to destination 4, which would be supplied from source 3. Now in the next step, delete the row or column satisfied by this allocation. Okay, similar to least cost method. Now we have to delete the row or column which is satisfied through this allocation. So if we look carefully, the source 3 or third row, the supply of source 3 is completely exhausted. It means source 3 is satisfied through this allocation. So we are going to delete this row. Delete this row. Okay. After deleting this row, in step 5, recalculate the rim requirements. In column D4, the initial requirement was 320 units, and out of these we have allocated 200 units. It means the remaining demand would be 120 units. So we have recalculated the rim requirements. Now we move on the next step, that is repeat steps from 1 to 5. So we have to repeat all the steps again. Again we have to calculate the iterations, we have to calculate the cost differences for the remaining rows and columns. We are not going to include the row which we have deleted in the previous step. Now we will include only those which are not deleted. So in iteration 2, again identify in each row and in each column the minimum and the next minimum and calculate their differences. So the minimum cost in first row is 10 and next minimum is 12. So difference would be 2. In the second row, minimum is 7, next minimum is 8. Difference is 1. In the third row, as we have deleted this row, so we are not going to include this in further process. Now come to the column. The minimum is 7, not 6, because we have deleted this row. So we are not going to include the 6. So minimum is 7 and next minimum is 12. So difference would be 5. In the second column, minimum is 10, next minimum is 11. Difference is 1. In the third row, minimum is 8 and next minimum is 12. So difference is 4. In the fourth column, the minimum is 13 and next minimum is 14. So difference is 1. So again, after calculating all the cost differences, we have to select the largest one. So which is the largest value? 2, 1, 1, 4, 1, 5 here. So 5 is the largest cost difference. Again, what we have to do? We have to select the minimum cost in this cell. So in front of 5, the minimum cost is 7. So repeat the step. In this cell, we are going to assign the units. Simply match demand and supply requirements. Demand is 180 units and demand is of 300 units. So you allocate the lower value, that is 180 units. After making allocation, delete the row or column which is satisfied through this allocation. So the first column, the requirement of the destination 1 was of 180 units, and we have allocated exactly 180 units to the destination 1. It means the demand of the destination 1 is satisfied. So we are going to delete this column. So after deleting this column, adjust the rim requirements. The rim requirements would be the total units that can be supplied from source 2 were 300 units, and out of these 300 units, we have allocated 180 units to the destination 1. So remaining units would be 120 units. Okay, after readjusting the rim requirements, again we have to start this process for the remaining rows and columns. So what we have to do, again calculate the differences for the remaining rows and columns. In the first row, difference would be minimum is 10, next minimum is 12, difference is 2. Second row, minimum is 8 and next minimum is 11, difference is 3. Again, in the first column is deleted, so the third row is deleted, so there would be no, we are not going to calculate the cost difference. First column is also deleted in the last step, so we are not going to include this column. Second column, the minimum cost is 10 and next minimum is 11, so difference is 1. In the third column, minimum is 8, next minimum is 12, difference is 4. And in third column, minimum is 13 and next minimum is 14, so difference is 1. So among all these cost differences, we have to select the largest one. So largest one would be 2, 3, 1, 4, 1. So 4 is the largest value, largest penalty. So we are going to focus on this column. So in this column, select the minimum cost. In this column, the minimum cost is 8. So we are going to allocate the units in this cell. Simply match the demand and supply for this cell. The demand is of 350 units and supply available is of 120 units. So we are going to allocate lower value, that is 120 units. After making this allocation, delete the row or column of which the requirements are satisfied. Of source 2, the requirement, the supply was 300 units and we have allocated 180 plus 120 or 300 units to destination 1 and destination 3. So the supplying capacity of source 2 is completely exhausted. So we are going to eliminate this row as well. Okay. Now adjust the rim requirements. For D3, the total demand was 350 units and out of which we have allocated 120 units. So remaining demand would be 230 units. 230 units. Yes, 230 units. Now, after doing this, we are left with only one row. There is no other row and there is no another column. So, in case if we are having only one row or one column, then there is no need to calculate the cost differences. We directly what we have to do, just select the minimum value out of the remaining cells and the minimum value is 10. For this cell, match the demand and supply. Demand is 150 units and supply is 500 units. So allocate the minimum lower value, that is 150 units. Then select the next minimum. So next minimum in this row is 12. The demand of this destination is complete, so we would delete this column as well. And the supply available is with source 1 is, after allocating 150 units, is 350 units. For next minimum is 12, match the demand and supply. The requirement of destination 3 is 230 units and the availability is of 350 units. So locate the lower value, that is 230 units. After that, the balance is 230, 300, 380. So 120 units are left with source 1. So then select the next one. It is 13. Match the demand and supply. Supply is of 120 units and demand is of 120 units. So demand and supply is equal. So allocate 120 units in this cell. So the requirement of this cell is also fulfilled. And of this column. So in the end, we are going to cross every row and column. because we have satisfied all the rim requirements for the supply side and for the demand side as well. So it is the solution of this problem. So in next step, what we have to do, calculate the total cost. Again the same formula we have to apply to calculate the total cost, that is total cost is equal to summation of Cij into Xij. Cij means cost per unit in the occupied cells, and occupied cells are the cells in which we have allocated some units, more than 0 units we have allocated in any cell, we call it occupied cell. And Xij denotes the total units transported through a particular route, means we have transported 150 units through this route. So total cost would be like, and we have to apply this formula only on occupied cells in which we have allocated some units. So for the first cell, occupied cell, Cij is 10 and Xij is 150. So 10 into 150 plus, for second one is 7 into 180 plus, for third one is, it is 12 into 230 plus, for this cell 13 into 120 plus, for this cell 7 into 200 units plus 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One cell is remaining, which one? 180 included, 150 included, 230 included, 120 included, 200 included, 120, 13 into 130. Sorry, 8 into 120. This one. So through this way we can calculate the total cost of transportation through this through using Vogel's approximation method or penalty method. So now come on some special cases of the Vogel's approximation method. What would be the some special cases? I think you can calculate the total cost by simply summing up these values. There is a special case sometimes we face while solving any transportation problem with the help of Vogel's approximation method. And what is the condition? What is that case? Suppose I am just taking these values hypothetically. The maximum cost difference was 4 in this cell, and suppose that there is a tie. There is a tie between largest difference. There is a tie between this 4 and this 4. So in this case, which cell we are going to select, or which largest value we are going to select. So basically there are two methods or two techniques to select the best one among these two methods, largest differences. So first one, that is the most effective technique, is what we have to do, simply find out the minimum value in front of in this row. Find out the minimum cost of transportation in this row, and that is equal to 7. So for this row the minimum cost is 7. In the same manner, find out the minimum cost in this column. So in this column the minimum cost is 8. So now you can see that this 4 is having the minimum lower cost, that is equal to 7, in comparison of this largest difference, which is having the minimum cost of 8. So obviously we would select this 7 because it is less than 8. So we are going to select this 4. So in such situation, or in such problem, we can select on the basis of minimum cost in a particular column or row. It is the first technique. And what if the largest values are same? There is a tie between largest values, and additionally there is a tie between lowest value, minimum cost. There is a tie between minimum cost. Suppose the largest values are 4 and 4. In front of these values, the minimum cost are also similar. Like there is 3 and 3. So in this case, you are going to select which one. So again, this second technique to come out of this problem, and that is related with the allocation of the quantity. The largest cost difference is similar. Okay, no problem. Go to the first technique. Find out the minimum cost in front of each largest value. And if they are also similar, then what we have to do? We have to simply calculate the largest quantity assigned, that you can assign in that particular row or column. Suppose there is a tie between this 4 and this 4, and in front of these values, the minimum cost in front of this row is suppose it is 3, and the minimum cost in front of this value is again it is 3. So there is a tie between minimum cost. So what you have to do now? Now you have to check the largest possible allocation. In this cell, match the demand and supply. There is a total supply is 320 units and total demand is of total supply is of 300 units and total demand is of 320 units. So assign the lower value. We can assign maximum 300 units in this cell. Now check the maximum allocation for this cell. The quantity demanded again is 300 units. The supply is of 300 units and the quantity demanded is of 350 units. So again we can allocate 300 units. So there is a tie between these two cells at third level as well. At first level, second level and third level as well. So in this case you can select anyone. Suppose if the maximum allocation in this cell was 200 units and in this cell it is 300 units. So in this scenario we will select this cell, because by selecting this cell we can allocate the maximum values. So in this way you can handle the situation of tie between largest cost differences. So now we will come on the plus points of the Vogel's approximation method. As we have discussed the drawbacks of the northwest corner rule method and the drawback of the least cost method, that they do not consider the cost differences, that they do not consider the penalties or opportunity cost. So Vogel's approximation method is considered most efficient among these three methods because it considers the cost differences, or it considers the penalty of not selecting the optimum route or the best route. So in this till this video we have covered all three methods of calculating initial feasible solutions. In the next video we are going to discuss two methods: modified distribution method approach and stepping stone method of calculating checking the optimality of these initial feasible solutions. Thank you.